All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we've got a lot to talk about. And the focus that I want to begin with today is some updates that I've seen in the space since our live stream we did yesterday that are critical for the future of Web 3.0, because this is a space with a ton of promise. They were just scratching the surface of what's even possible with Web 3, and a couple of things have come up that are going to really expand these things. So we're talking about that. We're going to look at a lot of other news updates that have happened in the space, check out the cryptocurrency markets, answer some of your questions, and a lot more. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step-by-step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so we got people jumping in the chat here. We got Culture Highs, Automatic Beats, David Stone, I am Jadine. I hope I'm saying that right. Code Chap, Angela, Ahmed. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so let's jump in here and talk about these critical updates for Web 3.0. It's coming from two different places. But the first one I actually want to talk about is an update that we're seeing for MetaMask itself. Okay, so let me just pull this from my screen here. So actually, two quick things to preface this. If you're new around here and you're not totally sure about what Web 3.0 is, okay? So this is a new and improved version of the internet by contrast to Web 2.0, okay? So Web 3.0 is essentially an internet powered by blockchains, an internet that's permissionless, censorship resistant, decentralized, compared to Web 2.0, which is very centralized, right? Very controlled, concentrated control by a handful of companies. Very permissioned, very prone to censorship, right? So this is very strong contrast. And so that's what Web 3.0 is. That's the future that we're moving toward with blockchain technology. Anything that you can think about that we use blockchain for right now could be categorized as Web 3.0, cryptocurrency, NFTs, decentralized finance. But there's also so many other things that you can do with that long term, like just use your imagination. What could a censorship-resistant social network look like? What could a decentralized social network look like? There's lots of things that have yet to be really implemented at scale that have a very promising future for what we could do with Web 3.0. So that's what it is. That's where we're headed. One of the big updates that I want to talk about today is about MetaMask enabling that future, okay? Because with Web 3.0 right now, everything's very fragmented, everything's disjointed. The user experience is not great in Web 3.0. In order for us to get to that level where we're really capturing a large amount of the total addressable market, basically people who use the internet, some of the user experience has to get better, because let's be realistic. At the end of the day, not everybody's going to go, buy cryptocurrency on an exchange, transfer it to a MetaMask wallet to do something, on a website in order to use it. So some of these things have to get better over time. And one thing that is getting improved right now is actually how you can access Web 3.0 websites, okay? So we saw this update come out yesterday. I think this has actually been live for longer than yesterday. I'm not sure it was actually breaking, but I saw it yesterday, so I want to bring it up. But anyways, MetaMask now fully supports ENS websites, okay? Let's see, I can't get this to size properly. Basically, if you have a MetaMask extension in your browser, you can type in a .eth name, and if it has a decentralized website, it'll load. You put a slash at the ending and try it. So you can actually just do this. You can do it with your MetaMask, and it'll load it. Okay, so this has actually been a feature of ENS domain names for a long time, but now you actually integrate it with with your MetaMask wallet itself. So let's explain a couple things that are important to understand here in case you don't see how you can't connect the dots on how all this makes sense. So first of all, what is MetaMask in the first place? Well, MetaMask, most people think about it as an Ethereum wallet, a cryptocurrency wallet where maybe you buy NFTs with it. Maybe you are just holding cryptocurrency coins in it, right? But you have it, extension installed in your browser. It does allow you to hold cryptocurrency, move it around, but one of the most important things that MetaMask is actually doing is turning your web browser into a blockchain browser, right? And that's critical for Web 3.0. Most modern web browsers don't support blockchain connectivity out of the box, okay? Because when you go here and you see your URL here, This is all like Web 2.0 paradigm, okay? And so if you want something that actually has connectivity to Web 3.0, then you have to be able to navigate on the Web 3.0 rails, which is essentially going to be a decentralized stack of some sort of blockchain backend, and also IPFS, which is really critical too. So what is IPFS? Well, it's a decentralized file storage mechanism, which works kind of like a blockchain, but it's not really. But basically, if you want to create a fully decentralized application that's powered by smart contracts that live in a blockchain, but then you want to take your website and make it decentralized, because if it's running on just a web server, like any internet site that you're looking at right now, then it's not really decentralized, because that that front end, that website is on somebody's web server somewhere. So if you want to further decentralize it, you would take those assets and then put them on IPFS. Now, in order to access IPFS, you need some sort of domain to point to it. So that's another thing in the stack, which is basically how your domain name works. And so domain names are very centralized. We use DNS. There's a lot of pain points with DNS. So now we have this extra layer of ENS, which is exactly what we're talking about here in this update. Okay, so ENS is Ethereum name service. You might see this with other people who have Brantley.eth in their Twitter handle here. That's basically saying I can take my Ethereum address that I hold cryptocurrency in and use on the network and make this a .eth name. But you can also take this .eth name and point it to an IPFS URL, which is essentially going to resolve to a website if you have files hosted here, and then enter in MetaMask into the equation, which will automatically do that for you, which you can take your web browser, turn it into a blockchain browser, access that fully decentralized website with a .eth, top-level domain powered by ENS, which is a blockchain-based service. So this is how you're actually getting this fully decentralized application stack, and now you're having your browser that can actually connect to that, because you had a problem before, which most people didn't have that out of the box. Okay, so that's a critical piece for Web 3.0 and making this sort of cohesive end result, when previously everything was pretty disjointed. Okay, so you can actually look on this update if you want to see more about it. But also in other places you can go browse more sites, more decentralized sites is on the. You can definitely go check this out. This is a search engine for decentralized web. And then one of the easiest ways to do it is just look at basically fully decentralized sites, look at the index and kind of just browse around. There'll be lots of others. I mean, any major website that you can think of that's a Dapp that's running on Ethereum, like Uniswap, for example, most of them have .eth names, stuff like that. You might have seen the .eth.link way of resolving the domain names before. All right, so let's talk about another update that I want to talk about. It's critical for 3.0. So that part of that's resolving fully decentralized sites in a decentralized way. But another kind of bottleneck for Web 3.0 adoption is scalability. Because I used the example before of talking about like a decentralized social network. Well, in order to make a decentralized social network, really work, you need crazy scale. Okay, you need to be able to create new transactions very quickly and read information very quickly. Okay, so a lot of people would say that, hey, if you're using a blockchain like Ethereum, like there's no way you're going to be able to create a decentralized social network on something like that because it's too slow, it's too expensive, all that type of stuff. And I've talked a lot in this channel about layer 2 scaling solutions. And if you're new, what are those? Well, that's basically where you can build a second layer on top of Ethereum where you offload a lot of those transactions, a lot of that activity, and then settle that result back on top of layer 1 Ethereum itself. And so we have several players in that space. Some of the ones I've been excited about in kind of short to midterm that are early for general layer 2 scaling solutions have been Arbitrum and Optimism. These are optimistic rollups based technologies. And we do have a pretty big update from Arbitrum that Arbitrum Nitro is here. Okay. So basically, this is going to be a much faster and cheaper version of Arbitrum itself. Now, I did a video on Arbitrum when it launched, kind of demoing it, talking about, the benefits of it and showing you how much it reduced the transaction cost and speed. And I mentioned in that video when this updates came out that essentially this is not the final form of Arbitrum. It's not the final scalability of it, because it still, has some cost associated with it. I mean, it's always going to have costs associated with it, but it wasn't as cheap as it could be when it initially launched. And we talked about how Arbitrum is kind of in that really early phase where they're just trying to, get some users in the space. It's still, with making lots of upgrades. And right now we have an update that they have made it even cheaper. And so this is the next step towards their final goal. So basically, they're talking about, this is with Arbitrum Nitro, the next iteration of Arbitrum, which you've been working on for months, built on standard technologies like WebAssembly, Geth, so it's more EVM compatible and order of magnitude faster than our current tech, and adds another 0. Okay, when it's ready, we'll be deploying it as a seamless upgrade to Arbitrum 1, which is the current implementation that we have right now. So actually, they put in the I believe I saw the stats earlier about how much faster it is. So how much faster? We'll need to test it at scale to get a firm benchmark on performance gain, but we're estimating a 20 to 50x increase in layer 2 execution speed, and expect a sizable decrease in cost. Okay, so faster and cheaper. I don't think anybody's gonna, get upset at that. So these are both pretty big updates for the Web 3.0 future. And, like I said, I expect the layer 2 scene to really continue to just blow up over time, okay? We can kind of actually check on this. Kind of see what's going on with the layer 2 TVL. Now, of course, a lot of the sort of correction, I would say, that we see here in the upward trend, a lot of that's just had to do with cryptocurrency price corrections. We can look at the cryptocurrency markets here in a second. A lot of ETH locked up in, these layer 2 scaling solutions. But we're still seeing, significant growth across these in terms of TVL. And Arbitrum being the leader in market share. All right, so speaking of crypto markets, let's go ahead and check on what's going on there today. All right, so let's take a look here. So Bitcoin, we're back below $57,000. We're seeing a little bit of a correction over the last 24 hours. Ethereum, same thing, back below $3,500. We're kind of seeing short-term red across the board. All right. I think it's just another day in crypto, in the sense of crypto goes up, crypto goes down. But, over the past year, crypto's gone up. Of course, it's not always that simple, but hold on. I'm trying to actually zoom out on the perspective here, but it's not actually adjusting the time frame. I was going to show you okay, hold on. CoinGecko's being a little slow on me. Well, I'm not really sure why it's not zooming out to the desired time length here. Okay, here we go. Let's just do... So my kind of short to midterm perspective on the market is we're just waiting for Bitcoin to print a new all-time high. I don't know why it just changed on me again. Hold on. Let me just refresh the page. Hold on. Could be bullish that CoinGecko's operating kind of slowly, because then maybe that means lots of people are checking the price. I get a little bit bullish whenever I see that like Cloudflare splash page on CoinGecko, because that definitely means they're experiencing higher request volume than normal. I've actually seen CoinGecko go down a couple times. I was like, that's It's extra bullish. Okay, so let me just pull up TradingView. I'm not really sure why CoinGecko's not working properly. Okay, so we'll just check out the fancy chart here. So, yeah, my view is that basically Bitcoin is still leading the market. All our eyes are on Bitcoin. I think we're just kind of waiting for Bitcoin to break a new all-time high before we potentially go into, extra send mode. And I do think it'll happen at some point. I think the market can get very bullish whenever we start making a new historical all-time high like this. So I don't have any promises on when that's going to happen. What we're seeing today, this red candle form, it could turn into another rejection before we get there. But the fact that we're making progress, right? Like, we kind of had a downtrend that we were drawing here. It got broken. We had a downtrend here that got broken. A lot of stuff in crypto can be 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, but you're still making forward progress. Okay. So that's what I would say about that. And I don't really think we're probably going to see other majors start making big all-time highs until Bitcoin decides to do its thing. Okay, because a lot of stuff that's in the top 10, right, top 15, maybe top 20 even, has seen like a pretty big moment, I would say, over the past year. I mean, Ether, had a pretty big breakout moment. Binance Coin did as well. Cardano had a couple. XRP, no comment. Solana, definitely. Polkadot, Dogecoin. So a lot of these majors have kind of had a big moment, and so I really think that Bitcoin needs to do its thing before we start seeing other people rally in a significant way, like to new all-time highs. Okay, what do you all think down in the chat, down in the comment section below? Somebody says that's a problem when the FOMO kicks in. All these exchanges are going to struggle to process transactions. It can happen. Does Solidity work on Web 3.0? Yes, definitely. Solidity can be a very important part of Web 3.0. So where can I buy Arbitrum? So Arbitrum does not have a token. So Arbitrum actually uses ETH as its native currency. I'm not saying that Arbitrum won't have any token in the future necessarily. I don't have an inside track on that information, but it uses ETH to pay for transactions. So somebody says, is it worth having 32 ETH to run a node? Are there a fixed amount of places for running a node? So if you're going to run a node, you definitely need some technical skills to do it. There are ways to stake ETH with less than 32 Ether, or if you have 32 Ether or more, you still don't have to run a node to stake. You join pools. There's secondary ways of doing it. These will also have their own level of risk associated with them. So that's my short answer on that. Right now, staking, though, if you're going to do it, you have to understand that there's a lockup period. If you stake now, you cannot withdraw the ETH from staking until ETH 2.0, the merge, until after the merge happens, basically. So right now, ETH 2.0 is being built as a separate blockchain in its own environment. This is where proof of stake is. Okay, proof of stake is not on ETH right now with ETH 1.0. Okay, this proof of stake is over here. And if you want to stake, you have to move your ETH from the ETH that everybody's using right now over to ETH 2.0, which nobody's using. Not because it has no utility, but because it's like being built still. And so you cannot get that ETH back until the two become one. So what's your favorite API to pull crypto market price data from? Definitely CoinGecko. Should I put a Boolean that returns the end of my write functions? It depends. It's pretty common. It depends on how much you want other smart contracts to interact with your contract. It's not necessary, but it can have value. Also for testing, things like that. So does they want to become a Solana Web3 developer? You gotta learn Rust. So it's safe to generate random numbers in smart contracts. So if you're gonna do randomness, I would check out Chainlink because it's hard to, do random numbers reliably. Okay. So I'm gonna actually put a link to this in the chat. This is the Chainlink verified randomness function. So I'll put it on my screen here. So basically, you can use a Chainlink Oracle to get a random number. So Chainlink, what is it? So Chainlink is an Oracle service that lets you get data from off the blockchain and use it on the blockchain itself. Okay, so with Chainlink, one of the most common use cases for it is to get cryptocurrency prices and feed it into smart contracts, like the Ether price, for example, because the Ether price is not on the blockchain. The Ether price is determined by cryptocurrency exchanges. What are people buying and selling it for? And in many cases, this data is out there in the real world. It's not in the blockchain itself. So you have to pull this information from somewhere. And, you can't, like the problem with smart contracts is you can't make an API request for every single smart contract on the network because there's a race condition. Like the data that you receive in that API request might change. I mean, cryptocurrency prices change by split second sometimes, depending on how fast your API resolves. And so what you have to do is use somebody in the middle, which is an Oracle, which basically, aggregates these requests from multiple sources in a decentralized way, and then injects that as reliable information that can be read by the entire blockchain at once. That's what Chainlink does. That's the most common use case with cryptocurrency prices. Now, how it fits in with random number generation is there are cases where you can just use a single node for some things because you don't need the consensus of an entire decentralized protocol. And verified randomness is a way of doing that. So basically, you can have this off-chain processor that'll generate a random number and send it back to you. It's really common for like gaming, stuff like that. And you can do that with Chainlink. It'll give you random numbers because they're notoriously hard to generate. And Solidity is not great at it. You can pay for the link. Yeah, you can pay for the link. And you have to pay in link tokens to get data from Chainlink. That's how it works. So your smart contract should have link balance. It just depends on how you're paying for the transaction. If your contract is the one requesting the information, which it should be, then yeah, it has to have link balance because it's gonna send a link payment whenever it gets the information. Somebody says registering a .eth is a tad pricey with gas fees. Yeah, it can be kind of expensive. Somebody says Plant uses verified randomness for their lottery drawings. Yeah, that would make sense. I'm not familiar with that project. I haven't verified that, but that's what the comment here said. So is it worth it to do an NFT project now, or is it too late? I don't think it's too late. It has the massive NFT hype bubble possibly kind of run its course. For certain types of NFTs, probably. Nobody knows for sure. But we're seeing new types of NFTs come out all the time. Okay, so basically, some new type of NFT becomes a hot trend for a while, and it's like, boom, it kind of blows up, right? So we saw sort of this trend for historic original NFTs to really blow up in price, and they rose in price really quickly, all right? CryptoPunks, autoglyphs, ringers, all that stuff, boom, quick rise in price. You see profile picture NFTs, the 10,000 mint NFT drops, boom, huge trend. NFTs now that have utility on top of just the profile picture, boom, trend. So there's always going to be new trends, and part of that's just finding out what they are and trying to ride those waves up. Now, we could get to a point where there's so much downward sell pressure on the entire crypto market, or maybe the entire NFT market, where it's really hard for a new trend to actually take off. So you could be in a situation where that force is just too impenetrable to ride a new wave up. So that could happen. So let's see here. So do I have an opinion on Loop Ring? So Loop Ring has been around for a while. It's had a pretty significant role in the space. One thing about Loop Ring is they were really, really early to scaling solutions. So you can see Loop Ring on here with their own ZK rollup technology. It's proprietary, purpose-built for their own exchange. It's kind of application-specific, layer 2. And yeah, they were pretty early for this. You can see that their token's part of this TVL. They have their own loop ring token. All right, everybody, that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so that more people can learn about blockchain. If you're as fast with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? You go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I can show you become a blockchain master step-by-step, start to finish, over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience to become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. And until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.